channel, mammals. We're back home again in Yankee. I have something to teach you about mace. This is cinnamon that I harvested. And I was just thinking, gosh, how am I going to start this video out? I don't know what to say. And then I looked up and I saw our tea towels that we use, our everyday tea towels. And I thought, some people may have seen these here, but see, this tea towel was almost ready to be thrown out. And look at, I used to patch it. There's a patch back here that gathers up several different, it's all dirty now. Wait, can you see okay here? This is probably better. And then there was a big need for a patch down here. So I just used other things that are wasted, and patch with them. Or this one came from, I think, another tea towel just like this one. Yeah, that had already bit the dust. And then I added on part of it on the bottom here, and I added little bits of doodadery that we have around, just so you see how I love to be sure that when we repair things, that it's not boring, you know, because repair work is really boring. Here's another one, similar but even dirtier. And it also has a similar kind of thing going on here. But I have all kinds of ones. And I always think I'll have a chance to tell you about them, but there's always something else more important that I have to do. And so we don't get to see them very often. So I thought, okay, we'll start this video showing you what's behind me. Okay, now I really have to tell you about the video. Okay, well, the other day, I made a cake. And I'm showing you the cake right now. Do you see it on the lens in your video? I hope you see it. It's called a seed cake. And seed cakes have existed in Britain since Elizabethan times, or maybe even before. But I've seen recipes written by hand in letters for seed cake, back and forth from one old bonneted lady to another little bonneted lady. And it's just fascinating to see how they write, and how I can never even understand the recipe because they use such weird words. And everything is different, you know. And they didn't have any leaven then, baking powder, baking soda, even ammonia. They only had eggs. And they didn't even separate their eggs. They just threw them in the pot and scrambled them around. And everything seemed to just take care of itself. Rose up beautifully. And it depended on the time of year what kind of seeds they used and in their cake. And I don't even know all the kinds of seeds because they're so obscure the way they discuss them. But I hear tell, by the time nowadays in Britain, they still have seed cake for tea, but it's sort of evolved into just one kind of seed, caraway seed. And we in America, especially with our Middle Eastern roots and our Jewish couture, what do you call it? Eating habits. Oh, we have, caraway bread, but we don't have it as a sweet. And so it's kind of fun. And I thought, oh, I have all this caraway seed. I'll make a cake with it. And I thought it would use like a cup of caraway seeds or something. But it was 2 tablespoons. And I looked at the picture and I saw like 1 caraway seed and 2 inches over another caraway seed and another caraway seed. Very few, really. So I thought, oh, they're just too timid. And so I started adding my own seeds that I could think of. If it was a seed, not a nut, just a seed or a fruit or anything like that. Not like a raisin or a currant, only seeds. So I put together the recipe starts out with, it's kind of like a pound cake. A pound cake's a pound of butter, a pound of sugar, a pound of flour, and a pound of eggs, right? Well, so it's a pound of butter. That's a lot of butter for one cake. And so we mix the butter. Oh, I want to show you with castor sugar. And it's another thing many Americans don't know what it is. So I'm going to show you a castor and then you'll understand. So there's a castor up there. That one has cinnamon sugar for toast. And this one is another castor that changes its job depending on what I want to cast in it. So it's just, you fill it and then it comes out the little holes on the top. And so the sugar in Europe is a bigger sparkle than ours. So it sometimes doesn't go through these fine holes the way they want it, just light. So they have a finer sugar called castor sugar. And somebody gave me some castor sugar. And here's what castor sugar looks like. But I used it on the last cake, most of it. So I had to make my own castor sugar. See how it is? Wait, come over here. See, it's not powdered sugar. It's still sugar, you know, that can fall, like be cast out of a castor. So I thought, well, I'll just grind up my own sugar, but I kind of overdid it. So I'm just suggesting to you that if you make your own castor sugar, because you can't find castor sugar on the island here, so I was having to do something on my own. So. And the only reason for using castor sugar in a cake, really, is that you don't have to mix it for so long for the granules to melt into the butter. But it is a big help. But here's what I did. I ground it. My grinder is so fast that it ground it into dust right away. So it's not really, you know, it's not really pourable like real good castor sugar. But it's fine for the recipe. Okay, so what we just need to do here is, oh, and I thought I'd show you this. Isn't this pretty? I like it. It's sort of like art. What I do is I use my butter papers to line my my pan, this is a, you know, springform pan. This opens on a spring, see? Like that. And the bottom, you're always supposed to put paper on the bottom and then put butter on the paper. Well, I thought, well, why not use my butter papers? And so that's what I use. And they work really well. Okay, so we're going to put the sugar in here. And the real castor sugar. Ta-da. No, it's all gone. That's okay. I'm just going to get better at making it. Just don't let it spin so fast, you know. Okay, so now this has to cream. And to save your ears, we'll go away and you can work on some projects whilst you're waiting for this, okay? Oops, I have the wrong. We have the funniest thing here. This is our toaster. But the toaster won't work without a rheostat. So we turn this on and plug it in over here and then push down the toaster and it gets hot and toast the toast. So I had it plugged in for some toast. And so I have to take it out. Don't bother. And put the mixer in. There we go. There we go. Now we can turn the mixer. Okay, folks. See you in a few minutes. I hope you had fun doing whatever you were doing there. I think the next thing that we're supposed to add, oh, here's our picnic. All the different toppings, remember? I mean, the different seeds. This is sunflower seeds, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds, chia seeds, sesame, no. Oh, this is anise seeds, sesame seeds, poppy seeds, caraway seeds, and oh, I don't know if this is a good idea or not. It's lavender. They're not seeds, but I don't know. I might not like it, but I thought we could try it. And then there's the ground up orange, crystallized orange, you know, that I make every week with our oranges. And then, oh, it says ground up almonds, but it doesn't tell you how much. Everything's really weird. So we're just gonna put some in. I didn't do it last time, so. And then mace. Oh, do you know, I have something to teach you about mace. This is all from years and years ago. When we were in Sumatra. And I got my own, I don't know if I ever told you, but here, I harvested my own cinnamon. It's always hanging around somewhere because it's too big for the drawers. But this is cinnamon that I harvested. And you climb the tree like a monkey, and you have a special knife that you pull it off with. Now, I don't know if I can get other things out of here, but do you know what mace is? Mace is the outer part of the nutmeg. See this golden orangey color? Well, when it's fresh, it's much prettier, but it grows on its own on the outer side like a web. So, I was just about ready to, here, see, here's one of the nutmegs in here, and this is its outer shell. This just pops right off. Here's one that's already popped off, but what would have been on here, which I've already used and ground up, is the mace. So I already used that mace. So I just have mace from a, just a second. Let's get it. I just have ground up mace. I don't know where it came from. Okay. So now I'm taking off the outer shell. The mace is only on this one. I'm going to save that one. Here's a little piece of, cinnamon. Okay, so I bet you didn't know that, did you? Isn't that interesting? Mace is part of nutmeg. So I'm going to, and they don't tell you how much nutmeg to use, of course, or how much mace. So I'm just going to put in whatever to taste, as they say. Oh, it smells divine, even all the way over here. See, isn't it great? It's very easy to grate because it has sort of air between its little fibers in there. Since there's so many other flavors, I won't put too much. I can just put that away. Okay. So that's really the color that it is, when it comes off the hull, the shell of the. So I'm just going to put a little mace in there too. I have no idea. No idea. But and then here's some some ground up almonds, which I also don't know how much. It's so weird. This is why why I don't have millions of people watching my cooking programs. I think I have 3. 3 faithful followers that love to put their lives in circles like mine. I have no idea. Why don't they? Anyway, then when you look at Mrs. Beaton's, it'll say, put a whole cow head in or whatever. Maybe a little more of this, but I don't really know. I honestly don't know. Okay, so then The other thing is they only had one thing, 2 tablespoons of caraway seeds. But look at, I've got 2 tablespoons, 2 tablespoons. I have tons. So it's going to be full of flavor. This is the wine. Now, about wine. Ever since we were tiny, my parents said we are not going to support the drug industry in any form, which of course wine is, alcohol. And so we never, and people would go and buy cooking wine. But cooking wine is made by the same people who make the other wine. So all the money is going to the big industry of wine. So we never used wine in anything. But when I grew up, people must not have, well, things changed in America. Nobody drank wine in their families or at the dinner table. That was a European thing. And then all of a sudden, California decided to open, its wineries, and then New York opened its wineries, and everybody got into wine. And so now, it's so sweet. People bring me a bottle of wine when they come to visit. They used to bring me flowers or sweets. Now they bring me wine. And so I use it in stews and cakes, and I hope they're not offended because I am ever so grateful. And I was so glad to open the cupboard and find that I had this dusty bottle of wine way in the back. So that's going to go in. And the flour, I think the flour goes in after these things. And the eggs last. Okay, I think we put all the seeds in first. So here we go. Chia, flax, and so on. Okay, we're just going to dump them in. So it's going to have a lot more seeds than the ones. Oh, do you want to learn another interesting thing? These little Chinese cups, you see the light coming through? Do you see that? Can you see the light coming through those little holes? Well, they're not holes. When they made the little cups, they made holes in them. And then the way they made holes is they rolled the clay in a pattern of rice. So these are called rice cups, even though they're not really for rice. They're too small. But they're called rice cups because they have the design of, so the rice is in there, and it burns out because it's organic. It burns in the fire out. And the glaze slips right down over and covers the holes and makes a beautiful design. Did you know that? I hope you didn't know it because it's fun to learn something new. So here we go. I'm just going to keep dumping them in. And there's some that got loose in here because it's not a very interesting story. And the orange, or in case some of you haven't ever seen it, I can just show you what I did over here. I just took a little gob of the crystallized orange rind. These are 2 different times. See, one's darker than the other. And I just ground it up in the mixer, and then we'll put it in. Here. And now, let's see what else. I did whatever with that. And then I'll mix that. Oh, wait. I'll take this paper and just dump this in here so we don't lose any of it. And we'll just mix this and then we'll see what happens with the flour. I always remembered my mother's heel of her hand pounding on the sifter. The funny the things you remember. Okay, now we'll do a little mixing of this in. Just a bit. I don't want it to get too stiff. I'm worried about all that wine. That's very liquidy. And the eggs. Oh my gosh, it's going to be like soup. Oh, this is scary because what if they made a mistake? They do sometimes, you know. Oh, look at that. That is a ton of liquid. Not counting the eggs. Oh dear. Maybe now we have 6 eggs to put in here. So we'll see. But it's so much fun. You don't have to do any hard work. You don't have to separate the eggs. You don't have to whip the eggs. You just throw, let them just go bloop, 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 bloop. That's it. I made the day before yesterday that had like this like that much wine in it. And it said, oh, pour the batter into the pot, you know, the pan. And I thought pour, because it was more like kerplunk, you know, kerplunk. It didn't have all that liquid in it. I'm just making extra sure here, but it's doing fine, I think. Ooh. I think it's okay. I don't like to waste any egg or anything. So, okie dokie. Now we have a cake. Okay, here it goes. But who knows what it really is. It feels like 500 to me. I can't tell. Okay. Time for a tapioca break.